She doesn't want to leave me because she knows she has it pretty good with me. She told her partner in the affair that if she leaves me, she'll be left high and dry. She's still in the dark. I'm aware of her less than admirable ways. I was going to try to handle things in a nice way, but now that I've read everything, I want to go on the offensive. What's the latest? I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope everyone is doing well. We've got another story for you today, folks. As usual, I'll put the link in the description. As you can see from the title, it's called Let's Dive In. That's the title, and I'm not looking forward to the confrontation. My wife of 7 years had an affair with one of her longtime friends. In mid-July, I found text messages between them after becoming suspicious and finally checking her phone. The messages I read were from about a day earlier and were all about how great their sex was. I love you. We even talked about a little disagreement we had where she told me things I said and they both laughed about it. That's pretty rough. It's one thing to find out they cheated. It's another thing to find out they've been talking about you to someone you don't know. You don't know them at all. It's the worst feeling in the world.
This is your story channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please join us to stay updated with more real stories happening around you.
It's the worst feeling in the world. I suggested that we might be entering a new phase of our marriage where we feel more comfortable and complacent. It might feel a little boring at first, but that's often the case when you've been married for more than a few years. But she's convinced that's wrong. Even though we spend our days together, we've grown apart. We still have good conversations and good sex. But it's not enough. Here's the thing. She doesn't know that I know. I've consulted a lawyer and we're in the process of drafting divorce papers. This isn't the first time she's done this. The first time she was unfaithful was when we were dating. We broke up for 6 months, worked things out, got back together, and later got married. We rarely talk about her past infidelity. I told her that if she ever did it again, we'd be done. We've been fine for 6 years without any problems. About a year ago, she started to get a little distant and wouldn't accept my affection. I suppose the distance eventually led to her having the affair. Let's fast forward to today. I've known for 3 weeks and have been waiting for the paperwork to come through before confronting her. At first she wasn't interested in me at all, but this week she seems to be feeling more guilty about what she did and a little more interested in me. She's been trying to make amends in her own way without us ever talking about it. She's been washing dishes, cleaning, cooking, and refusing any help. It seems like she's punishing herself, at least from my perspective. I've lost all trust in her. She has completely betrayed me. She's caused me a lot of pain, and I don't think she can love me if she's capable of doing all this. We've managed financially, but it's been a bit of a struggle because she doesn't want to work. She finally got a job, but it's only part-time and the pay is minimum wage, so it barely covers her bills. I feel like I have to take most of the responsibility, and she's not really on my level. On the other hand, I still care about her, value the life we are building together, and don't worry about what will happen to her. I think she could easily end up feeling depressed. I think the only way forward is a divorce. I'm just worried about how she's going to take it, and it would be hard to say no to her. I almost wish she would move on with her new partner. I know I have to divorce her, but I'm not looking forward to the heartbreak, loneliness, and whatever else I can predict. How should I handle this? Let me share my thoughts with you. So hang in there. I've seen infidelity before. You broke up for 6 months, got back together, and got married. It seems like you thought getting married would make things better. She showed that it didn't work out. It seems that she's been unfaithful again. She doesn't know it, and I understand why you're holding on to this. You want to divorce her, and you're going to surprise her with it. I have some updates for you guys. Let's go through the updates and see what he finally did. I don't know how he stopped himself from reacting immediately, but maybe he has a plan. Maybe he has some ultimate karma to dish out. But it was a big mistake to take her back while you were still dating her boyfriend and girlfriend. When she was unfaithful, you took a 6-month break, but you proposed again and she did it again. That's really unfortunate. You feel that she has completely betrayed you, and you don't trust her anymore. But you end it with, "How do I go about getting a divorce? I want to end the marriage, but I'm afraid of the heartache and loneliness I'm already experiencing. I'm in a relationship with someone who has already broken my heart. She's seeing someone else. She's already done those things. It's time to move on. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Let's take a look at the comments on this one. Then we'll move on to the updates. One person says, "Stay strong, my friend. She'll probably fight to keep you around at first because she's not ready to end things. It seems that she and her boyfriend have another scenario in mind in a few months. Don't be fooled. Stay true to your values. Loyalty is the foundation of any relationship. We'd love to hear how it goes when you serve her. Oh, and he'll get back to us. But she only makes minimum wage. I think she'll probably try to hold on to you as long as she can. She really needs your support right now. I've heard that she will never be ready to leave the person who pays her bills." Someone else said that selfish people are a real pain. "Thank you for this information. We'll let you know as soon as we know more." He'll let us know. He's planning to give an update. If it falls apart, it's the AP's problem. I hope that when you heal you will find someone who is as invested in the relationship as you are. Someone else said that as long as you've been able to hold out until now without confronting her, you might as well wait until all the paperwork is done. I don't know how you've managed to stay so quiet. You're a stronger person than me. Good luck to you. And now she's gonna have to deal with this as a friend. I don't know how you managed to go on. I don't know how you managed to stay strong. Couldn't either. Takes a lot of strength to do that. I'm surprised you didn't kick her out or leave the house. You just stayed calm, like nothing was going on. I don't think I could have done that. Someone said, "I know. If I knew someone was cheating on me and lying to my face, I couldn't go along with it. I'd bring down their world. And I did the same thing when it happened to me." Yes, absolutely. Someone else said, "It takes a lot of strength to stay silent for so long. I feel the same way. I can't help but wear my feelings on things like that. I actually think it's a virtue to be honest." Oh, he responded to that. He said it was a bit of a challenge at first, but yeah, people have always told me I'm pretty strong-willed. Or maybe I'm a sociopath for being able to do this. I don't really know myself. I don't know how you do it. So when I say there's no way to know how you're going to act in a situation like this until you're actually in it, maybe you just went into survival mode, which helped you get to where you are now. The thing about cheaters like this is that they're ambivalent. I also worried that my husband would hurt himself after I kicked him out. This woman is deliberately endangering your emotional and physical well-being. You're taking steps to ensure your own safety and happiness. Stay strong. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need support. Someone else mentioned that it's possible for people to bond in extreme ways in these situations. She's not going to let this go without a fight. You deserve so much better. We're on the same page, especially when it comes to our values. No, not at all. Let's take a look at the update. Alright, here's the first update. I just wanted to give you a heads up that I'm gonna go scorched earth in 3 days. I know it may not be exactly 3 days. My lawyer will send over the paperwork in 3 days, but I have to go over it and make sure it's all correct. It might take a little longer, but she'll get what's coming to her. I posted last week that I found out my wife was cheating and I haven't confronted her yet. I want to get everything set up and ready before I do. I was able to download a complete text message log of her conversation with the other person involved in the affair. I have to say, she's more screwed up than I thought. I'm telling you, it's bad enough just finding out about the cheating. It's pretty uncomfortable to find out that she's discussing it with someone you don't know who knows a lot about you. It's pretty awful. It seems like she's trying to destroy him completely. It seems like she doesn't care. She could be messing with a guy who's not very smart. She might even go so far as to literally try to kill this man. Oh, you heard her. Or maybe you're not doing this for her. They don't deserve to live. Some people are just that crazy. I originally thought that she started cheating in July, but it turns out her affair started in May, and from March to May she had another affair. This one with someone who was an addict and didn't use protection. Oh no. So she's been unfaithful to a total of 4 men. Let's move on to her current partner. First, she gained his support by lying to him about our relationship. She told him that I insulted her and was mean, which is not true at all. This gave him a reason to believe he could get away with it, so he started manipulating her. He told her that she deserved better, that I was a piece of shit, that I was a child, and so on. He even considered himself a relationship coach. He would listen to her complaints about me and give her my perspective or explain why I did what I did. The person she's cheating with is giving her advice on how to handle her relationship. What the heck? I had no idea this was bothering her. She never told me that. Just to be clear, he's never met me. He seems to think he can predict all of my behavior. This guy thinks he's in control of everyone around him. He was quite proud of it. He thinks he's some kind of relationship guru. It's absurd. He's a church minister. He bragged about helping a teen group get closer to God. He also bragged about helping a teenager end a relationship with his girlfriend. He did a great job counseling the girlfriend, who then became suicidal. So she's fallen for his act. This total manipulation. He's got her hook, line and sinker. He calls her living with me a prison and calls me a hole, while I'm the one who hugs her, pays her bills, and greets her happily when she comes home from work. I value her above all else. I have to be honest. I'm a big believer in self-improvement. I think people should always strive to improve themselves. But to be honest, she hasn't really improved in the last 10 years. She's overweight, dropped out of college, and started working part-time at a young age. I have tried to encourage her to make some improvements. I asked her to go to the gym with me or play sports, but she said no. She was unemployed for 4 years while I was paying her student loans, which put her in a pretty bad place financially. Can you tell me why you did this? I asked her every week to look for a good job. She never did. I encouraged her to go back to school. I'm happy to pay for it. She can study what she wants. She never went. After a few years of asking her to work on herself, I started to get frustrated and started to criticize her for her lack of effort. Sometimes I was so frustrated that I was a little harsh. I realize now that this was very wrong of me. I've stopped criticizing her altogether. Before her extramarital affairs began, she really loved me even when I was still harshly critical. But now that I have changed my ways, she doesn't love me anymore. I know, right? I wasn't hateful when I was critical. I believe that a marriage should be a partnership where both partners are equal. I tried to help her achieve equality in our relationship, but she wasn't interested. I think we're supposed to be able to support each other, but she only did that when I was in school and needed help. She's fallen apart, which has led to affairs and resentment. She hasn't addressed her problems with me. She has a problem with me. She brings it up with the affair partner, who basically tells her what I'd probably say. Oh dear. She told her mother about the affair and tried to make me look bad. But she didn't believe my wife, got angry that her mom wasn't on her side, complained about it, and the affair partner quickly took her side and explained her mom's point of view. Who is this guy? My wife is looking for someone to agree with her so she can justify the terrible thing she's done to me. She's ashamed and trying to cover it up by telling herself that I'm a terrible person. She doesn't have much emotional intelligence and doesn't pay much attention to me. She doesn't seem to be able to read me at all. But I know her well. She has a very different impression of me than I have of her. She's stuck on who I used to be, but I've changed a lot in the last few years. But she never noticed. She doesn't want to leave me because she knows she has it pretty good with me. She told the other person in the relationship that she'd have nothing if she left me. I'm in a bit of a pickle. I'm a busy student, so I don't have a lot of time to give her the attention she used to get. I think that is what led to the cheating. If I give her any less attention than she's used to, she gets really upset. So here we are today. I've read everything she's written. She still has no idea what's going on. I'm aware of her less than admirable ways. I'm expecting the divorce papers on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to giving her a hard time. I was going to try to handle things nicely, but now that I've read everything, I want to go on the offensive. I want her to really understand the extent of her bad behavior. I posted last week that I wasn't looking forward to this, but now I am. I'm looking forward to reading her text with the affair partner back to her and showing her how wrong she is. I'm looking forward to pointing out the clear manipulation tactics the affair partner used. I'm looking for support and possible solutions to this dilemma. She also has a dog that she's absolutely obsessed with, like a child. She'll fight tooth and nail to get it. Unfortunately, neither of us has the financial resources to take this to court. I'd like to know how I can keep my dog without paying $30,000 in legal fees. Yes, she's willing to go to such extremes for the dog. I mean, she has a part-time job, but she could have someone else pay for it. I'm thinking I can serve her papers and leave the same day with my stuff and the dog before she gets them. The problem is that I live at the school where I have to be back in September. There's a lot more to this, but the text messages with the affair partner are literally 100 pages. So this is a pretty short summary. Wow, that's something. I have another update for you. So let's take a look at this day's update. Alright, so we're wrapping up the update. This is my second update on the situation. I'd like to thank everyone for all the support and advice in the last 2 posts. This made me feel a lot better and given me a sense of solidarity. I may have gotten ahead of myself with the 3-day countdown. The paperwork took a little longer than I was told, but now I have everything and things are starting to come together. I plan to have her serve a week from today, but as we all know, things don't always go as planned. My soon-to-be ex-wife is still in the dark that I found out she was cheating on me over a month ago and was planning our separation. I've been living with her and going along with things as if everything is fine. It's pretty unbelievable. I don't know how you do it, and she doesn't even know. It was a challenge not to catch her. I've seen her text him, and I would have caught her 15 times at this point. She never changed her password, and she still talks about him like he's just a friend. It can be hard to stay calm when she's talking about him, but I do what I have to do. Sometimes I wonder if it's wrong to secretly plot against her, to catch her off guard. It's not wrong to do it to her, but it's immoral for me to do it, no matter who's on the receiving end. Some days it's hard to hide how angry I am with her for what she did. Some days it feels like I'm living in a strange dream. I wonder if you're torturing yourself. I'm just keeping it to myself for now. But having places like this where I can share my thoughts and hear what others have to say is really helpful. I'll tell you, we had a pretty big fight about our relationship. I was able to call her out on a lot of her bad choices without giving up the fact that I know about everything. I told her that she didn't love me and that I hadn't been important to her for a long time. That was a week ago. I've been using this big fight as a cover. So now when I seem angry or cold, she thinks it's because of the big fight we had. I was the glue that held our relationship together. Now that I know about her infidelity, I don't see any reason to try. As a result, our relationship fell apart pretty drastically. I told her what happened and she seemed to understand. Since that fight, it seems like she's chosen me over her affair partner. This is clearly not the way it should be. She chose me when we were married. There shouldn't even be a choice here. She's put more effort into showing me attention and communicating with me. Yes, she doesn't want to lose the support of her colleagues. She's trying to make things work. From my point of view, it's not enough and it's too late. There's nothing she can do to change the situation she put us in. She has to live with the consequences of her actions. Now she's asking to just lie in it. Her infidelity began when her role as the center of my life was challenged. She was used to getting a lot of my attention, which made her happy. So she went looking for attention elsewhere instead of talking to me about it. What I find really amusing is that the man she was having affairs with didn't treat her as his number one either. One guy ignored her for weeks. The other guy has an ex-wife and a child. He's even told her that they will always be his priority. I've even seen him with other girls. Just to give you some context, this guy is a youth pastor. It seems like she's not even second choice for this guy, even though they tell each other how special their relationship is. He even told her that he plans to co-parent with his ex. I don't understand how she can be okay with that, but he can't handle me focusing on school. As a result of our recent disagreement, she's decided to stay with her parents for a few weeks to give herself some space to think things through. This makes things much easier for me. I don't have to worry about her refusing to leave, attacking me, or doing anything else crazy. She's already made plans to come back. She has no idea that I've arranged for her to get a divorce. The papers will be served the day after she arrives at her parents' house. I have a week to go and it can't come soon enough. I'm ready for this to be over, but it also means this is the last week I'll ever see my dog. It's really unfortunate. We're really attached to him, but I don't think there's any way I can keep him. There are some special circumstances that I don't want to get into, but basically it's impossible for me to keep him. I'm really going to miss him. It's likely that you are unable to care for the dog due to his condition. Let's take a look at the other update. It seems that the last update caught them off guard with the paperwork. Guys, I did it. The news came as a complete shock and she was understandably devastated. She's surprised to say the least. Understandably, she's upset because she's lost her main source of income. I found out about my wife's multiple affairs over a month ago, but I didn't confront her. Instead, I thought carefully about how to move on from this situation with the least amount of trouble for me. For the past month, I've been acting completely normal. I've been cheerful. I've bought her things. I've had conversations and so on. Here's what I shared in my last update. We went over it. It's been a long month. I really wanted to confront her. I was close to saying it, but I never did because it wouldn't have been easy for me. I went to the gym, got some legal advice, drafted some documents, collected over 450 pages of explicit messages, set up a new debit account ready to transfer funds, and convinced her to spend some time at her parents' house. I even found out exactly how her family would react. I put a freeze on her credit card and transferred half of our money to the new account as soon as I heard the papers were delivered. She left with her mother yesterday. I hugged her and told her to take care of herself. She said, "Okay." This morning the papers were delivered to her parents' house by a process server. She had no idea that I knew about her actions. Her parents said they had no idea. She was blindsided and seemed hysterical. I say hysterical because, get this, I still haven't spoken to her. Yes, that's right. Her mom called me and I had to fill her in on what happened. But that's just the big picture. Even in a situation like this, her mom is trying to solve the problems for her. It's ridiculous to say the least. I can even talk about my personal relationship with my wife in private. This is a 29-year-old woman who allows her mother to act as an intermediary and speak on her behalf. I had a good relationship with my mother-in-law, and she encouraged my wife to work on our marriage. I think this is a bit of an excuse on her part. I handled everything with tact, kept my cool, and didn't let my emotions get the better of me. But I had to keep my cool. My mother-in-law talked about getting her wife's things and used language that made it seem like I was responsible for getting her things back to her. She suggested that I pack the stuff, start a car, and drive the 4 hours to deliver it. The items in question are mostly t-shirts and lotion bottles. I told her it wasn't my responsibility. She came back with, "If you respected me as much as you say you do, you'd be doing me a favor." Oh my goodness. She's getting way too involved in our business and trying to manipulate me. I just said that's not relevant here. I could say the same thing to you. Please don't try to manipulate me anymore. I got a lot to do today. I'm already showing you a lot of respect by leaving a lot of things out of this conversation. I could go to court and prove that this has cost us both a lot of money. I could even claim the death of our dog. I can also testify to her affair partner's employer, resulting in his dismissal from his role as youth pastor and other consequences. My goal is to make this as affordable and easy as possible. Of course, she backed down and is now going to pick up the items. I'll have to wait for them to make the first move. I think they're trying to hire a lawyer to refute the dog ownership, which is the biggest point of contention, but oddly not brought up. I imagine her mother is probably comforting her and telling her that her multiple illicit affairs are okay, dragging her husband through the MUD, talking trash about him whenever she gets the chance, and even still coming home at night and expecting love and affection. Someone else mentioned in another thread that she might have borderline personality disorder. Based on what she said, I think she does. I find it a little strange that she would be so concerned about such insignificant things right now. Yes, absolutely. It is a little strange. My wife and I have different views on how to deal with this. Yes, absolutely. Should I just let her deal with it? Hey, Mom, there's a possibility. Is there something wrong with my wife? I suppose there is. Should I let her come and get her things? I'd rather not deal with that. I really don't like all this. I'm being straightforward and honest with them, but they're trying to pull a fast one. I really don't want to have to resort to any kind of arm twisting. I hate that I've always been the one paying my wife's bills and supporting her financially. I hate that I can't even talk to her about it in a reasonable adult way. I hate that her mother lied to me about not knowing that her daughter was having affairs. I hate that they're so confused by my actions. I really hate it. I find myself thinking about her and wondering what flavor she'd like when I see ice cream at the store. But most of all, I hate that they still see me as the bad guy. It's really unfortunate. I'm gonna post the link to this for you guys. I'll put the link in the description as usual. Let me know what you think.